Hello, friends, and welcome to the Handyman Success Podcast. Our mission is to teach and inspire by sharing the stories and insights of our guests. Whether you're a prospective, new, or seasoned handyman business owner, you will learn practical business tips you can apply today and be inspired that you can reach your goals and create a better tomorrow. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Call, owner of Handyman Marketing Pros. We equip small, family-owned handyman businesses with modern websites and SEO to help grow their businesses online. I'm joined by my co-host, Alan Lee, who has built his handyman business to a point where it runs without him. He now teaches others, step by step, how to do the same thing through his Handyman Journey business coaching. You can learn more about our marketing and coaching services by scheduling a call with us on handymansuccess.net. So whether you're patching drywall, sitting in the office, or making your third run to Home Depot, we invite you to pull up a chair and sit with us on another episode of the Handyman Success Podcast. Welcome to part 2 of this interview of the Handyman Success Podcast. If you missed the first part, you can find that on whatever platform you are listening or watching this episode on. Let's jump back into it.
I love it. Yeah. So Cory, we got like the pricing figured out. So what does the estimating process look like for you and your business? And you said you have an estimator. Like, what does that look like? Like, how does someone submit a lead? Where do you get most of your leads? How do you create the estimate? Do you do an on-site visit? Like, what does that look like?
We try to minimize on-site visits as much as we can because it's definitely eats into the day. So we get a lot of leads through the website. People do like that contactless ability to, just push a single button and get a quote. A lot of people will call with their issues and their problems, and Nicole, she answers the phone most of the time. She'll request, hey, can you just send some pictures, and you got to be specific with this too. You got to tell them like, hey, take a picture farther back,
Right.
and one up close, because they always seem to take them like super close, and you're like,
yeah,
what am
right
I
over
looking
there.
at? Right? So
Yeah.
give me the whole scene, and then give me a close-up photo of what's going on. So we definitely encourage that as much as we possibly can, and through the years, I've gotten really good at being able to price the job straight from photographs and just experience of doing similar jobs and knowing what the potentials might be. And then whenever we do bids like that, we always have a separate line item in our thing that says note, with asterisks all around it, and is just goes into a description saying, we estimated this job via photographs. Sometimes the upon arrival, the job scope changes. Is not, what we anticipate in the photograph. So that way you have something to speak to if you have to change the price, right? If you go there and, that you said this price, you said this price. So I was like, well, we did quote this from a little photo,
Right.
so it kind of gives you something to revert back to, something a leg to stand on, and that just came from having too many altercations where we had to change the price.
Yeah.
Right.
So your estimator, does this person kind of like get relayed all the information to then give that estimate?
Yes, exactly. So we're all in the same office here. The estimator is kind of a newer thing that we're doing because I'm trying to take more off my plate. I did all the estimates before, so now when all of them come in, we have one centralized email. So whenever there's something I want estimated, I have a tab that says new estimates, right? And I move it over to the tab. So he knows if there's anything, he logs on online. If there's anything in that email that is under the new estimates, is his responsibility. And then we have a completed estimate one. So as soon as he's done with that, he can move it to the completed. Or if I do one, knock a couple out, then I'll move them to the completed. As far as the emails go, and then Nicole will make like post-it notes, and then the office phone just kind of stays here. It's a cell phone, so we all can grab it. We can grab those post-it notes if quotes are needed to be done. We'll look at the photos. If further investigation is needed, we call them. Maybe we could try to do a FaceTime. Or if it's something that's going to be a larger project, we come on site for free. We always go on site for the elderly. They always seem to have a problem sending photos, and they're kind of like a soft spot to me. So we always kind of go on site to them to provide that customer experience, that customer service. And then we also have a home maintenance preventative package, which is we come in, every quarter, and we do a lot of things to the home. We make it, we keep up on it. We just keep up on the regulatory maintenance, essentially. I can go farther into it, but
Yeah,
uh,
man. If you could flesh out, because that's a super common question I know I get all the time, is like about the home maintenance program. Like, so if you could explain, like, what is it? Like, how do you communicate it? How are you selling it? Just give us an overview, man, of this home maintenance plan that you guys offer.
well, yeah. So the most traction that we have gotten with the home maintenance package is the elderly. So it's kind of another reason that we
Hmm.
kind of go out to those on-site estimates because it could lead into something more. So we always bring a brochure with us, a trifold. And but before we leave, we're like, hey, here's some reading material for you. I can go over it, or you could just read through it. Most of the time, they kind of want to hear a little bit about it. But essentially, it's a monthly or quarterly cost. A lot of people like to have just a monthly rate. Our rate is $65 a month, which I think works out to 195 quarterly. And it is a 90-minute visit every quarter. So every 3 months, we show up, we do a 90-minute visit. So with that visit, it kind of breaks down into 45 minutes of inspection, walking around, inspecting the home, and then 45 minutes fixing up whatever we find that's not right. Maybe it's just like molded caulking in the shower, scrape it out, put some new caulking. We have it on the truck. It's all part of the service, no extra additional charges. We'll change the AC filter every single time we come. So we'll document what size it is. We'll be prepared. We'll bring it. We'll change out the water filter in the fridge. There's also filters in the dishwasher. We take them out. We clean them. We inspect the filters in the range hoods, make sure they're not just covered and caked. Uh, One visit, we'll do the dryer vent cleaning within that extra 45 minutes that we have. And then one visit, we'll do water heater flush. And then one visit, we'll do change all the batteries in the smoke alarm. So once a year, all the batteries and smoke alarm, once a year, dryer vent cleaning, once a year, water heater flush. So if consumers are already paying for that water heater flush and or the dryer vent cleaning, it's essentially free to them.
Mhm.
So the
Hmm.
whole concept of it was just to build, better customer relations with people, bring a great product to them that people really need. But it essentially gets us in the door. So when we're doing our so we'll break it down. We'll do like a bedroom and bathroom inspection. So we only focus on that area one quarter. Then the next quarter, kitchen and living room. Next quarter, exterior, whatever the case may be. So if we're doing an exterior inspection and we notice that the fence posts are rotted, they need to be done. We don't fix it in that 45 minutes, but what we do is we go back to the office and we generate an estimate for them and send over the estimate and say, hey, this is what we noticed. And we disclose it to them like, hey, we're going to send you an estimate on these things that we found. Maybe it's all the fascia boards are kind of starting to show deterioration and they need to be painted. They're not completely gone yet, but they need to be painted before they do become that way. And that's the whole premise of the inspection is to catch those little things, fix them for minimal cost before they become, large items.
So this is very interesting. So you do the air filter, the fridge filter, smoke detector batteries. Do you charge for those filters or is that part
So
of the
that's
package?
all part of the service.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
So
That's pretty cool.
essentially, my idea was to try to make it like my minimum service charge each time we come out
Hmm.
every quarter.
Right.
So it's not like a great value. It's not like huge income source,
Right.
but it's
Hmm.
also steady. It's also a steady income. Every single month on the first, we get that income. So that's kind of
Hmm.
nice to have. Let's see. Yeah, so
It's the
basically,
upsell, and this is exactly what the handyman industry can learn from HVAC. HVAC companies, their bread and butter are these. They have these maintenance programs, and they do the biannual tune-ups,
Hmm.
the 252 point tune-up or whatever it is. It's
right.
some
Yeah.
this huge number that some
Yeah.
kid goes out and does the tune-up, but they find things that need to be repaired. You need the coolant flushed. You need a replacement coming up here in a couple of years. So it's a good way to get in the door, provide value, but also
Yeah.
diagnose and provide suggestions for that fence post. So I think that it's, like you mentioned, like the actual dollars coming in just for the maintenance program is like, it's kind of you meeting your minimum, right? But it's the lifetime client value and finding those things that your ideal clients they want to stay on top of because they want to take care of their home. So I think
Yeah.
it's a really amazing service that you offer there. One question I have on it too is how do you keep it all organized, scheduled, and just fulfill your end of the deal?
That's exactly where Nicole comes in. I couldn't even tell you that. I just know that she's like, hey, you got so and so, this month. You need to get ready for it. And then
Huh.
we keep a little tiny binder of each customer in the filing cabinet, and we open it up, uh, and and we kind of look through it, like try to get your bearings back. So now our estimator Jerry, he's going to be taking over that role. He's very good with customers. Customer love him. He always seems to get great reviews. So it's a nice job for him to do. So it's kind of turning into his baby. This thing kind of just derived one night when we were just kind of like writing things out. Like, man, what would my grandma like to have done? When she became a
Hmm.
widow. So that's kind of where it is most of our people are widows, and most of these ladies are. I don't know. My husband always took care of that.
Right,
Uh,
right. So
so, so
what if during this 90-day visit you come in and your plan is to do the dryer vent and they say, "Oh, my kitchen faucet is leaking." Do you
yeah.
give them a quote for that? How does that go?
No, no, definitely. We definitely deviate from it. So it's not a set in stone. We have to do this. We're going to be there for 90 minutes. So if somebody wants something or they have a priority, so like one time, for example, the like 2 days before our visit, the torsion spring on the lady's garage door it broke, right? She's,
Hmm.
oh my God, what do I do? I said, I can get it on Amazon right now. It'll be here tomorrow. And we can just, install that instead of doing your quarterly visit, and we could just get that done. And it'll be basically you're just going to be buying the part, so the labor is going to be
Hmm.
covered under the $65 a month. And then that's
Wow.
what we do. So we're able to tailor, it's not set in stone. So we're able to tailor this to the customer's needs. And then we just document that in their file, and if they call in, some of them will call, hey, I really need this and I want this and this looked at and this done. And then we'll go do that. And then there's time left over. Then we go back to our original, plan of inspecting something that quarter.
Hmm. I love that.
And
That's really
currently
cool.
we're working on redeveloping it. Through our networking, we found that we want to maybe bring in some affiliates in it. So be able to like offer the whole entire package, so we can have like an add-on for pest control services and then work closely with one of our partners with that. Solar panels are huge in our area, so solar cleaning and window cleaning. So being able to have these add-on services, that we could potentially add on. And basically, we're not trying to look to gain any value from these other companies, but if we have these affiliate programs with them, then hopefully they can start referring us work, and it's all part of that small business loop.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like a value loop. Like at the end of the day, if you're focused on giving someone value, and even if you're bringing in other partners, you're not making much money off it, or even you just have a referral list, you get nothing from it. That builds up your own value as a reliable source for their home help. So I love kind of the path you're going on there with other partners and ultimately making it simple and easy for the homeowner.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yep.
Um,
I love it.
So the time is flying by, guys. So we got like maybe like 10 minutes here. We haven't even asked you. I know one topic I'd love to get your perspective on and what you do for this is hiring. I mean, you've had a growing team every single year over the last 4 years. I know your first hire, you explained the story of like your neighbor that was predestined to work for
Yeah.
you based on what you saw him do in his house.
All
But
right.
how have you went about hiring your technicians and your
Yeah.
staff, or is that all Nicole? Like, if you could
This
walk
is
us
the
through the hiring
absolute
process.
hardest part of running a business. It's
Hmm.
by far the biggest struggle that I have.
Hmm.
One of my weaknesses is hiring somebody and then retaining them too long. Knowing that they're never going to get better, but just having a hope that they will. So that's definitely a weakness I have. Hiring is definitely hard. I want to say when we hired Jerry, who's our estimator now, we had like 150 applicants through ZipRecruiter.
Wow.
And we narrowed it down to like 20 people per se. And then we called to set up interviews. I think we called 12 people. 6 people set up interviews, 2 people showed up. And it was just like,
Wow.
okay.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like this is definitely hard. We recently went through a temp service agency, and even through them, we've been with them for a few months now, and we've gotten very little leads from that. So to be quite honest, most of our employees have come from our very first employee, friends of him, and
Hmm.
yeah, they're just go-getters, very hard workers, and mechanically inclined. So that's that's kind of it. I just got lucky with my first employee, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
I know
amazing.
that's a huge pain. That's the biggest barrier for any handyman that's trying to grow their business is hiring quality labor. Alan, what's your perspective? I know you share. Whenever Corey was talking, I may as well have heard your voice talking.
Dude, there's so many people out there looking for work. And after you interview people or try and get them in for an interview, then you realize why there's so many people out there looking for work. They're just not high quality individuals. Like it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So I don't know. I don't understand it because I've always been raised to work hard and be diligent at what I do. But there's a whole nother thought process out there. And those are people looking for work a lot of times. Um, there's obviously people looking for work that are good and honest and hardworking people. But it's just hard, man. We use ZipRecruiter, and that's how we found the majority of our work. But also, you know, I guess a lot of the good employees that we have been personal referrals of some sort. Just like clients, the best clients that you have are people who have know people that you've done good work for. And oftentimes the best employees that you have are people that know your current employees or, are around that or things like that. So, we've had people like actually during our last podcast, I had a kid that walked in and I was talking and he just walked back out. But he had a folder in his hand. I think he was a guy that was looking for work. We have people all the time stop in for work. And it's a hard, like I would say hiring and firing is the hardest part of growing a business. Like I definitely resonate with you, Corey, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just always being on the prowl and trying to notice somebody that's out there and just show interest on it. Jason had put a now hiring thing on our website and we've never taken it down. We just leave it there because we kind of continually want people to come in.
Yeah, and that's a
Yeah.
great point. Planting the seed, having a relationship, just like clients that say no, not right now. There's amazing people out there that would be a great fit for your company. It's just not a good fit for them right now. I know many business owners, they kind of like plant the seed with someone great, and at some point in their life, it could make sense for them. So it's good to be patient. I've had the same experience. Personal referrals are half of our team members have come from that and are amazing. The other encouragement I'd have for people is have a very stern expectations, clearly set probation period. That gives you the
Hmm.
freedom and that permission almost to be like, like I see, because I'm probably like you, Corey. Like I see the best in people, and I'm like, oh man, like they can be so great. Like they're gonna get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And the other better half of me is like, my wife is like, no, they're not gonna cut they're not gonna fit. But if you set really clear expectations on a probationary period, it almost gives you some permission to be like, I'm just gonna call it like it's not gonna be a good fit. Getting someone else's perspective in the hiring process as well, I think is a practical thing. But at the end of the day, you can put up guardrails to make it a little bit easier for you, but it is kind of finding that diamond in the rough as far as those all-star team members that will be with you for a long time.
Definitely.
Spot
So
on.
as we kind of like wrap up the interview here, man, let's see, a couple. We got. You have another like 5, 10 minutes, Corey?
Yeah, what do you want to hear?
Okay, I got a
I'm
couple
available,
last
man.
questions for you. Firstly is if you don't mind sharing, like in your 4 years so far, what are some standout, like one or two standout wins, like just bigger positives, accomplishments that you've felt over the years, and then conversely to that, one or two top of mind like losses, just hard learning experiences that you've had.
Um, some wins is every state's different, but I obtained my contractor license, so that was huge for us to continue to do larger jobs and not have to worry about looking over your shoulder if you're kind of just pushing the boundaries kind of a thing. So that was a huge win. Uh, Let's see, other huge wins. One of the big standouts was there's one handyman company in town who's been doing it for about 20 years, and he's definitely the leader in our area. And to get his acknowledgement, and we have lunches together, we have a great relationship. Uh, to be saying basically, you're my only competition. Everybody else is not nearly as professional as you are. You and I are basically, the only professional handyman companies in town. So it's like to get that recognition from somebody that's been doing it for 20 years and the guy that I have my sights set on, you know.
Mhm.
So that was my win, and know that I'm kind of going in the right direction. Um, Losses, we really haven't had too many big losses yet,
That's
thankfully.
great.
Um, one of them, you know, I guess we're kind of still in a big handshake town, like a handshake still really means something here. Very blue collar, but doing jobs, we just go out and do them. We don't require contracts. We don't require deposits. I definitely got burned on a couple jobs, so those are big losses. Unfortunately, that's not the model that we're trying to do. We're not trying to make every single person sign contracts. So it kind of comes with the territory when you're operating in that atmosphere of that field, where you're just that handshake guy, trustworthy guy.
Mhm.
I definitely see more value in that than and having a couple losses, but some of them are pretty big sometimes. I want to say the one that comes to mind was almost 4 grand, so
Hmm.
those hurt.
I
Yeah.
actually I really agree with that too, as far as like there's a boundary of like setting expectations, but not really signing on the dotted line. Of course, there's situations where it's really prudent, like doing larger remodels, $20,000 bathroom or the high end remodeling guys out there is probably prudent, but I'm definitely with you. I think there's a lot of value in that trustworthy experience, but still having expectations, guidelines. You mentioned the stars around this is an estimate based on photos. Stuff like
Yeah.
that really helps.
Yeah. I would I agree with you, Jason and Corey, but I sort of push back. We want to get a deposit on everything because I've
Mm.
been burned so many times. Especially it's those crazy small like $300 jobs, super easy, right? And you're all ready, you're driving over there and they call you up and like, oh, we got to cancel. Oh man. So I'm always like, you got to get a deposit. You got to get all that stuff on the schedule. But I completely understand. I would love to have more faith in humanity. I would love it. But
Well,
I've seen too much where it just does not work out.
currently, the biggest ones are like the big corporations that seem to stiff you. So
Right.
corporations we're definitely doing contracts with now. But the homeowners, they've really been true, man. I still have faith in them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys are down there in Bakersfield. We're up here in the big city. So, you guys are more like honest, good for loving folk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you keep that same philosophy, man. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear from you or even Nicole if she's in the office. I'd love to hear kind of what are some parting advice that you'd have for prospective or brand new handyman business owners that are listening to this. Like what kind of advice would you have for them?
If I could go back, I would definitely go straight into the CRM. I think I mentioned it earlier. We're trying to save as much cost as we possibly can when we're first starting out. And like my wife, I know Excel. I know Excel very well. I can make all these programs, which was great. But then once your clientele list gets so big, that thing gets very sluggish, right? And then you have all these numbers and it's just not very effective. So I would go straight into the CRM. It's very, economical. I think it's like $55 or $60 a month. Uh, Number one, right there. That's exactly what I would do starting day one and just get used to using it. Second thing is what I struggled with a lot, and we're changing it now is asking for reviews, right? I was always terrified unless I did the most exceptional job you can ever imagine. I wasn't asking for reviews. I was like, man, that was just okay. But my okay is most people's like excellent 10 out of 10 job, so I take it very serious. So I would definitely say that as long as you do a good job, every time and your guys do a great job every time, ask for that review because the customers are happy to give them to you, man. They really are. So reviews really help with making the phone ring because it makes you start, stacking up there on the map and being in that top three. So since how we use Jobber CRM now, but it has the integrated automatic follow-up for reviews. But
Mhm.
I think that there's an add-on one on Marquette. I think it's like $20 a month. I would definitely do it and send them out. And then if you bosh a job, sometimes they don't always go right, and you're just kind of nervous, and then just click that notification off for that one person, but just have it for everybody else, because since then, I think in like the last few months we've doubled our reviews. I think we're at like 70 something now on Google.
Mm.
And before that, it took us 3.5 years to get to 35. And now we're at 70 in the last, you know. So it
Yeah.
definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah, and that's great, man. It's one of the most important things any business owner can do for themselves, for their business, for their marketing, is build reviews. I know there's a lot of anxiety and fear of that automatically asking or asking everybody, and out of fear of getting that 1 star review or whatever. And so I kind of want to quickly address that as like if you have fear over consistently asking, like take an honest look at your customer experience and the quality of your work and make improvements to give you confidence to ask for that review and know that it's going to be a good rating. And then two, the best businesses, the best service ever, they get 1 star reviews because some people are unreasonable. And
Mhm.
also we're humans. Like people will make mistakes. You can slip something up and you get a 1, 2 star review and you're like, yeah, I probably earned that because someone made a mistake, but how are we going to improve that? And so 1 star reviews are going to happen as you put yourself out there. Drown them out with 5 star reviews by consistently asking because you're confident that you've got a really good service. So thanks for sharing that bit.
Yeah, I definitely agree. 1-star reviews aren't always the end of the world. It hurts. To
Hmm.
me, I take it way
Mhm.
too personal. It ruins
Right.
my whole day. It ruins my entire day. And the worst part for mine is it's always family friends. It's always like somebody that knows us somehow, and it's always like, man, you're a jerk. Uh,
Right.
Yeah.
But however, as a consumer myself, when I go on Google, I go to the 1-star reviews, and I kind of look at how the company responds, and
Right.
and it's definitely how you respond that can change that 1 star into a sale. That 1 star could
Mhm.
actually make a sale for you because of how you respond to their review. It's like I want to say this is the last one I had just the other day. It's like, hey man, like what can I do to make that a 5 star? What can I do to improve for the next service that we do for you? Like here's my personal number if you want to call and talk to me, like tell me how your experience was. Whatever, just put it out there, like, hey, this is my actual cell phone number and I'm blasting it online because that's how important this is to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know Alan's got a great testimony on that one, but you can certainly turn a 1 star review into a positive thing for your business. And also, I want to shout out a guy named Byron with Handyman Lamb. Him and his wife, they dealt with a couple back-to-back terrible, like unwarranted 1 star reviews, and I know it really ripped them up. So I just encourage anyone out there that has 1 star reviews or you're fearful. They can be a great thing for your business. They're going to happen. Just keep plugging forward and focus on the consistency and the 5 stars. That's all. That's all we can do.
Right?
Yeah, and I think with 1 star reviews is you got to remember that, reviews and kind of information that people give you, it's not something that needs to like kill you. It's actually something that should make you stronger. So when people give you like good, honest feedback, sometimes you need to take a step back and be like, "Oh, wow, is there any truth in this 1 star review?" Because more often than not, there is. And it might not be that you did something maliciously, or that you're actually a bad person. It may just be that you dropped the ball in the communication. And you, as the business owner, need to own that and say, man, for whatever reason, we did not handle this the way that we want to. And I promise you that we're going to create systems to make this better. And if you leave that as a response to that 1 star review, people are going to see that and they're like, wow, this guy's a real human being that makes mistakes, but he's willing to own up to his mistakes. And people value that. That's a good, just like a human trait that I think people are longing for. And just be real and ask yourself, man, did I screw up in this? And most often than not, you did screw up at some point. You just need to be real with yourself and be like, yeah, this is how I screwed up and this is how I want to fix it.
Yep.
Awesome. Last quick plug here, guys. I mentioned a CRM, definitely a great thing to invest in the short term as that client list builds, the automations, efficiencies you can create are going to more than pay for the system. I always, my people that I talk to that ask about a CRM, I say, you could probably get away with the Excel spreadsheet or just rocking QuickBooks until you're maybe like part-time. But once you get, certainly 15, 20, 25-hour billable a week, you really need that efficiency and organization. So on this note, by the time this episode will release, Alan and I were have our first release of our Handyman Champion CRM that's made for the handyman space. Our 1.0 should be ready around the summer, fall time. Head to handymanchampion.com. We'll have a little sign up there so you can make sure to get some information as we get beta testing going and all that good stuff. So Handyman Champion, we're super excited for a dedicated handyman CRM that we're working on together. So anyway, thanks so much, Cory, for hanging out with us, taking time out of your busy day, running your business to just hang out and have this conversation. I'm sure it's going to bless a lot of folks. So thank you again for the time, man. Really appreciate having you on.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me, man. And if anybody has more questions or anything, I'll read through the comments. I'll respond to them. I'm here to help, man. Really want everybody to succeed. So anything I can do to help anybody else succeed, just give me a shout out.
Man, awesome. Thanks, Cory. Appreciate you, brother.
Love your heart. And the Handyman Journey Mastermind group, Cory's either in that one or the Handyman Success Mastermind group. We've got 2 Facebook groups. Handyman Journey is certainly a lot more active, but a lot of our guests are in these groups. We're blessed that our guests are awesome dudes and gals. And so please feel free to ask questions in there. We're all here to help each other out. So thanks again, Cory. Appreciate your time, man.
All right, friends, that's a wrap of this episode of the Handyman Success Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on your journey in building a thriving handyman business. We would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Whether you learned something new or you're facing challenges that you're just not quite sure how to deal with, we would absolutely love to hear from you. We would love it if you would leave us a review, drop us a comment, or hit that like button telling us that you liked this episode. By doing this, you truly help and support us in creating more of these podcast episodes to help change the handyman industry to something amazing. And I want you to remember that you are not alone on this journey. Jason and I are here to help. If you need anything at all in regards to business or marketing, you can reach out to either Jason or I at handymansuccess.net. You can go over there right now and set up a free consultation call with either of us. We would absolutely love to talk with you. So thanks again for spending this time with us. And until next time, go out and be a blessing.